Workers find an astonishing item inside an ancient artifact in Rome that leaves everyone speechless. But before we start, please give the video a like and make sure to subscribe to Wonderbot and hit the bell so you'll never miss any uploads from us. In the city of Como, Italy, construction workers were taken aback when they discovered something astonishing buried under the soil. The 19th century Cressoni Theater was under excavation when these workers found something lurking inside the depth of the earth. Confused and worried, they decided to leave the discovery to the hands of experts who could tell what it actually was. The experts weren't expecting anything exceptional, but they were proved wrong when they found out what an amazing thing it was that had managed to stay hidden for centuries. So, what was it? You'll soon find out. Italy is one of the most beautiful places in the world, a land filled with beautiful landscapes and food. This place also holds an incredible history that's baffled archaeologists and scientists for years and still continues to do so. This place draws thousands of tourists annually because of a very simple reason, which is this place's amazing history that has so many forms. Tourists just can't get enough of this place. If you want to know about the history of the world, then we think you should start with Italy, as it has been the trailblazer that gave the new definition to world history. According to the legends, Italy's capital, Rome, has a very interesting story behind it. The most popular and heard is the Roman myth of two brothers, Romulus and Remus, who are said to be the founders of Rome. The story states that this twin duo was left abandoned in the jungle, and a wolf took care of them until they were ready to build an empire. Soon, jealousy overtook them, and the feud between the two brothers grew stronger. They had an argument over the name of the city, and it was then Romulus lost control and killed his brother Remus. The name Rome is influenced by Romulus, but this story is just a myth. There's no hard evidence present. But that day, something was present that changed everything. Other than Rome, the Italian peninsula, which once served as the seat of the successful and highly influential Roman Empire, the Roman Empire lasted for 5 centuries. The empire was able to expand its wings from North Africa and the Middle East up to Britain. The Roman Empire is considered as one of the most successful empires in the chapters of world history. It's believed that around 21% of the world's population thrived under its rule. And this should not come as a surprise because for 5 centuries there have been some great rulers that ruled the empire. Leaders like Julius Caesar, Nero, and Caligula. Through these leaders, the empire was able to expand its wings across every domain they could. With time, the Roman Empire came into contact with several great figures like Egypt's Cleopatra, Queen Boudica of Britannia, and Jesus Christ. The Romans not only gave the history new meaning, but they even gave a new oath to humanity: sanitation and central heating. Indeed, the Roman Empire dominated the whole world, that what all we know about the world today is because of this empire's existence. Post-Empire of the Roman period, the cultures of the Italian peninsula didn't stop as being the one that defined history of the world, but in the 14th century it grew into something more. During this period, the empire began to influence the world through art and science. This shift is popularly known as the Italian Renaissance period that still surrounds us today. For 3 centuries, the Renaissance produced endless artworks, including the famous paintings of Leonardo da Vinci, the Mona Lisa. This time, the discovery which was made by these workers was far more interesting than the painting. Just like artworks, literary works were spreading like fire all over the world. People started reading about things they weren't aware of, like the famous Polish mathematician Nicholas Copernicus, who first suggested the theory of the model of the universe, where he said that the sun was at the center and all the other planets revolved around it. Theories like these made people think out of the box. In literature, the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri became really popular among the general public. But what happened when this new culture started to spread? In no time, this cultural revolution started to cross the borders of the Italian peninsula. Renaissance expanded rapidly across Europe. Not only art and science were experiencing great changes, but people started to move out in search of unexplored places. It was during this period Christopher Columbus discovered America. It was because of the Renaissance the world watched such changes, and it was during this time only the city of Como started to hide something from the world, which was later discovered by a few construction workers. With science advancing to the next stage and artworks reaching to other people, the Renaissance also brought a new form of art in front of people, which we know as opera. In this new art form, the performers combined dance, music, and poetry together. This art form was loved all over Italy and soon reached other places too. Though it was majorly performed for courts, but realizing the potential and love for the art, people started performing in front of the general public as well. Opera soon became the most sought-after art, which was enjoyed by everybody. The combination of music, dance, and poetry brought the lovers of different sections of art together. In 1870, when people saw the potential this art form had, it was then in Como the famous Cressoni Theater was built. This theater began showcasing famous productions like Rigoletto and The Barber of Seville, and several others. This theater was big, and along with opera, people came here to watch wrestling and magic shows. Who could have thought that after such a long time, people are going to discover something this huge? In 1913, the Cressoni became a cinema theater and stayed the same for years until one day it was permanently closed in 1977. Then after that, the theater was abandoned by its owner for more than 20 years. Let's fast forward to September 2018, when the famous Cressoni Theater was again in demand, and the reason is just amazing. This is something really unexpected. The Cressoni site was abandoned for 20 years now, and it was then the city decided to tear down the place. This place has a history that goes back to the 19th century. As they say, to welcome something new, you should leave the past behind. Same was happening to this popular theater. But beneath the theater, there was something that changed the history of the world. In 2018, the construction of a new building started on the Cressoni site. The workers were ordered to bring down the Cressoni site so that something new and fresh could be built on the same site where for years this theater stood tall. But then the demolition came to a halt when they discovered something strange in the soil. The workers were doing what they were ordered to do. And when it comes to finishing a job, these workers don't usually give it much thought and try to complete the work as soon as possible. But this time the workers had to stop because it was something really strange that took them by surprise. And they wouldn't have thought that something this valuable was lurking on the site for God knows how many centuries. So the workers notified the higher authorities because this was something out of their reach. After notifying the authorities about this strange item which these workers found at the excavation site, the experts weren't expecting anything as they thought they knew everything about the place on which they've been studying for years now. But they were proven wrong when they saw this item in person. Shocked, they couldn't believe that something this big was hidden here. The experts were on the scene, as we already told. They weren't expecting anything big, were taken aback by this piece of artifact that was lying in front of their eyes covered in soil. The experts couldn't make anything of it as it was a little far from where they were standing. They moved forward and took it out as we pluck an old plant from the soil. But this time this item was brought to life after it was brought out in the open. This item, which was discovered by construction workers, made the higher authorities intervene because it was that special. The experts took it out from the soil and removed the dust, and something fell out from the inside of the jar. Yes, it was an old jar that had something very precious inside that fell down the moment it was picked up. Everyone forgot about the jar, and it was the fallen item people were staring at like it was from outer space. The moment experts picked the jar and started to investigate it, the jar dropped something to the ground that took everybody by surprise. The day was filled with surprises, one after another. Surprisingly, the jar was looking complete in all sense except one hole that gave way to that which fell down. The jar was heavy, and that too for a very obvious reason. The thing which fell from the jar wasn't the only thing inside because there was more. It was one out of hundreds of gold coins that fell to the ground that literally shocked everybody at the site. The experts didn't waste any time and decided to take this ancient jar to the lab before people found out about the discovery and made by these local construction workers. It would have become difficult for the authorities to calm the public because this discovery was really huge. Because other than these gold coins, there was something else that stood out from the others. Other than hundreds of gold coins, there were this soapstone receptacle's contents that surprised the experts the most. Experts were able to find about 300 gold coins that were stuffed inside the jar. The coins were stacked in rolls, similar to those seen in the bank today, said Maria Grazia Fascinetti during a press conference held after the discovery was confirmed. So, what does this jar filled with gold coins signify? It appears to have been buried before the burial of someone in the past. All of this makes us think the owner is not a private subject. Rather, the jar could have belonged to a public bank or deposit, continued Fascinetti during the press conference. It seemed like there was no stop to the mystery because the haul just kept coming. They knew that this jar, which was filled with 300 gold coins, wasn't the only thing that made this discovery special, as these relics were really ancient. The experts suggested that the owners of this jar must have lived in a very interesting period in the past. These 300 gold coins were also pretty ancient, and experts found out they were from 474 AD, making this discovery some 1,500 years old. And when they thought that there was nothing else that could surprise them further, they were proven wrong again. The story was getting better and better with each step. The experts believed that these ancient coins belonged to a very specific period of the Roman Empire. This theory became valid when they found out the name of the Roman emperors Livio Severo, Leon I, Antonio, and Valentian III. And if it was true, then it means that these coins were from 474 AD. This means they were in circulation during Imperial Rome's lifetime. The empire lasted for 500 years, and these coins were believed to be the last of their kind to be minted in this period. Yet after investigating the coins, experts found out more interesting things about them. Some of the gold coins, as we told you, had names written over them, like Livio Severo or Livius Severus. He was the last ruler of the Roman Empire who ruled for only 4 years, and that too with very little power as a king of the nation. He was like a puppet who did what he was told to do. So what else was there they found about this haul? Well, for one, these coins were in perfect condition, with every detail of the coins in good condition. In the interview with the Times, local archaeologist Luca Rinaldi described the discovery as unlike anything else ever found in the area. Luca added further, sometimes coins are found that are stuck together, but these are all separate. It was like opening a wallet. Meanwhile, Italian Minister of Cultural Heritage and Activities Alberto Bonsoli could, for his part, barely hide his excitement at the discovery. As he said at the news conference in September 2018, it's more than exceptional, it's epochal, one of those discoveries that mark the course of history. Historically speaking, the gold relics found are absolutely priceless. But when you look at the coins practically, each one of them is really costly. In September 2018, valuable metals retailer APMEX valued each of them between $2,500 and $5,500. Amazing, right? This haul has more to offer other than the price. Just because the experts also found another jar filled with gold bar. So what about this other jar? The city of Como is filled with treasures like these, and after discovering this haul, the experts were surprised, but they knew what an incredible city this is that still holds so many hidden treasures, scattered all over the city. During the Bronze Age, a Celtic tribe lived in this place, and this place got more important after Julius Caesar took interest in it. Caesar ruled the city of Rome from 49 BC, and his reign came to an end after his death of 5 years of his rule. In his time, he managed to expand the empire and ordered construction and renovation of the city he liked most. But it was the city of Como that really became special for him because he knew this place as a very important strategic location that could benefit the empire in tough times. He ordered to drain the swamp that was at the southern end of the lake, and which later became the most significant decisions made by him for the city in coming years. After the draining of the swamp, Caesar ordered that an exterior wall is built covering the whole town. And to achieve that, many great architects of the time were called and were asked to complete the wall that follows the Roman architectural principles. He named the town Novum Comum, which flourished significantly under the Roman Empire. As the empire advanced, this town became the business hub of the Roman Empire. Even today, you can see Como's Roman past. And for that, you don't have to dig up the history as everything's in front of your eyes. The thermal baths that were built around the 1st century AD are still present in the city and are even available for the public to use. As for that wall that Caesar ordered, it lasted till the 12th century. But still, this place is an amazing piece of history. So the coins were found by the construction workers, but the real mystery was who owned these coins and why were they buried in a jar? The experts have no hard theory about it. Even after a lot of research, they couldn't reach a proper explanation. The scientists believed that there was an explanation and that they could be or couldn't be true. So, what was the theory? During the press conference that was held after the discovery was made, Fascinetti suggested that the haul was buried in such a way that, in case of danger, the owner could have gone and retrieved it. But it wasn't a concrete explanation, as there could be some other explanation too. These Roman coins have been found all over the place, and just like this discovery, others were too, found in very unexpected places. In 2016, archaeologists found something like this in Okinawa, Japan. The excavation at Katsurin Castle, which was built in the 13th and 14th centuries. And still, there's a lot of work that's been going on since 2013. The Board of Education in the city of Uruma discovered samurai armor and several other artifacts. However, Toshio Tsukamoto discovered something really amazing. Surprisingly, he stumbled upon Roman gold coins from the 3rd and 4th century in Japan. Masaka Yuko from the Board of Education offered an explanation on why they were able to find the Roman coins in Japan. He said, "The discovery confirms how this region had traded relations with the rest of Asia. It's a strange and interesting find," Yuko added further. She said that there could have been trading between Asia and the West, and this could have been the reason for finding West gold coins in Asia. Whatever the reason, it would have been that this discovery was really amazing in all sense. We hope that people keep finding things like that so we can know more about our history, which is indeed interesting, like this discovery, which was made in Italy.